my mother used photos to introduce something to my eldest daughter to smear campaign me. My eldest daughter was in her first year of university, and she had a relationship with my mother at that time. She was 18, she's an adult, and I knew that they were talking to one another, and I didn't like it, but at the same time, I didn't do anything to come between that, because I raised my daughter to be a person who could make her own decisions. And ultimately, by the way, she did go no contact with my mother of her own choice when she saw how toxic my mother is, and actually how dangerous she is, particularly emotionally. So here's my daughter visiting my mother's house. My mother, who never has family photos around, ever. The house has to look like it came from some sort of magazine, you know, like an architectural digest kind of thing, where the rooms look practically not lived in, kind of, especially the living room area. Everything is perfect, perfect. Like no finger, nothing. Okay, imagine perfection. And back then, her furniture was Formica, so not having fingerprints on the furniture says the furniture is not being used. She had a picture of me in when I married the guy that she pressured me into marrying when I was 18 years old, telling me that everybody's gonna think like I'm, you know, I hate the word, starts with a W, ends with an E, if I just live with him. And we weren't even living together. We were spending a lot of time together, but we were not living together. We had two separate flats. But here's my mother, she's telling me what to do, and I'm bobbleheading all the way because I'm terrified of her, and I believe everything she tells me. And by the way, that marriage didn't even last, I don't think, 6 months. She didn't bank on the fact that my children always knew about this marriage, that I didn't lie to my children, that there was no reason to hide things. I was an 18-year-old kid being pressured by the person who's supposed to protect me. And of course she wanted me to marry this guy because he wasn't a person that would have set me free from my mother. He wasn't a person who was going to help me to heal. He was a person who was actually helping me stay in the relationship with my mother by teaching me how to, you know, be nicer and better to her. And if I'm better to her, she'll love me, kind of thing. Literally, this is who he was. No shock that when I ended up marrying who I call my real husband, because we were together for 15 years, my mother did everything she could to try to sabotage that relationship. Because guess what? He had a degree in psychology, and he was setting me free. He was encouraging me to heal and go to therapy and pointing out that things were not my fault, that I was just a little girl. So anyway, here's my mother with this picture out there like, I gave your mother this big wedding, and like, she's so ungrateful, and that's why she doesn't talk to me. She's just always been this ungrateful kid, and, you know, really like outwardly trashing me to my daughter, and then doing some underhanded kind of, you know, little sprinklings of little stories and things like that. So my mother, you know, weaponized a picture of me that she also won't give to me. She will never release any of those photographs. And my daughter has asked her for my childhood photos, not so much to give to me, although she will, let's face it, at least copies, but because she wants to see what I look like growing up. She is a big, talk about pictures. My daughter has pictures of family, friends, kids, all over her house. She loves having family photos around, and my mother is well aware of this and would not give her one single photo of even herself as a baby, which thankfully I had lots of, and my kids have pictures of themselves because, you know, that's what we're supposed to do. We take them, and there are memories for a while, and then we pass them on to our kids. So just a little story time. It's like the gift that keeps on giving.